What up? Another episode of Bringing the Business, man. You got BC in the house, man.
What's going on, man? It's Nick right here, man. What's going on with y'all guys, man?
Not much. We got Chip in the house. Gordon, what's happening, bro?
How y'all doing?
All
We
right.
all good,
Hey,
man.
so look, we got a topic today of the most disrespected players NBA
Um,
history. So the two that I know Chip came up with was Russell Westbrook and Scottie Pippen. Okay, and I know you say you're thinking about adding LeBron James in there.
Yes.
Well, everybody, before we get started, I'm gonna give you some resumes of those three players, and then Nick, you tell me if you got another player you want to add in there, whatever. But for now, I'm gonna give you the resumes of them two players. Okay, you start with a Russell Westbrook, MVP, 9-time All Star, 2-time All Star Game MVP, um, 2-time first team All NBA, 5-time second team, 2-time third team, All Rookie first team, 2-time scoring champion, 3-time assist leader, NBA 75th anniversary team. We all know he's the leader in triple doubles when it comes to the NBA. Okay, now I'm gonna give you Scottie Pippen. Let me give you Scottie Pippen resume. So, okay, Scottie Pippen is a 6-time champion, 7-time All Star, NBA All Star Game MVP, 3-time first team All NBA, 2-time second team, 2-time third team, 8-time defensive first team, 2-time second team, NBA steals leader, 50 greatest, and as well as 75 greatest. Okay. Then next we got give you LeBron, which we already know LeBron resume, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. And we'll talk about whether you feel that these players are. He's a 4-time champion, 4-time Finals MVP, 4-time regular season MVP, 20-time All Star, 3-time All Star Game MVP, 13 first team, 3 second team, 3 third team, 5-time All Defensive first team, NBA second team, rookie of the year, rookie first team, scoring champ, assist leader, and a member of the 75th anniversary team. Okay? Chip, why do you feel that these guys are being disrespected or are the most disrespected?
Which one are we starting with first?
Either one of them. Start with Scotty
Whichever one
or
you want.
Russell.
Okay, let's start with Scottie Pippen. Has Scotty ever won Defensive Player of the Year?
No.
Right. Scotty, to me, is the best defender. I'm not even going to say perimeter defender. Scotty's the best defender I've watched play basketball in my life. Right. You also left out 2 gold medals. Right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't put because Scotty has 2 gold medals. I think Russ got 1 or 2, and LeBron got a couple. So, but
Yeah.
LeBron got that bronze on there as well.
Bronze. Yep, you got that bronze. But let's stick to Scotty. Then we'll go to Westbrook and we'll finish with Scotty's a 6-time World NBA champion. Um you hear the phrase Batman, I mean you hear the phrase Robin used with his name a lot. You hear overrated used with his name a lot. What else can I say? That brings me just to the disrespect level. It's a lot. It has a lot to do with playing in Michael Jordan's shadow, right? If Scotty played with another player, just say for instance, Jerry Krause doesn't trade Scottie Pippen, and Scotty winds up on that Seattle team with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. And you know, Cook, I hate to do hypotheticals, but if you put him there, right? That team is very much going to be a top contender in the West, right? They probably go and they probably win. We'll never know, but that's just what
I
he.
disagree.
You disagree? Okay. Just hold on. They went to the finals without him, right? So imagine if you added him, right? Think about that part. Scott, you hear a lot that people say Jordan made Scotty. Scotty come from a family of 11 children. By the time that 11 siblings, by the time Scotty met Mike, he was a grown man, right? So for people to keep using this statement that Mike made them and just these different things, I just totally disagree with it, right? So on my Cook, I just showed you what Dr. J had Scotty. He had Scottie Pippen in the top 15. When you hear his peers talk about him, when you hear Chuck Daly, you hear Phil Jackson, they call him the best player that they've ever coached, right? So when you hear this and then you just hear the media, you hear Shaq, you hear all these other media outlets just throw dirt and poison on his name. I don't really think these people really understand the game of basketball, right? So go ahead.
Hold on, let me say this. Now, I think that it's crazy that he walked away from the game without a Defensive Player of the Year award. Scottie Pippen to me is like the Deion Sanders of basketball. I told you this before, Chip.
Yeah.
Like the defensive Sanders of basketball. And what I mean by that, I've seen Deion Sanders shut down the whole side of a football field where you can't come over here. Like you better not throw this ball over here. I'm finna shut this whole side of this field down. I've seen Scottie Pippen shut down a whole side of a court. You know what I'm saying? Like first of all, I'm gonna put pressure on the ball handler up here, and I'm gonna defend on the on the pass that you try to throw into the post or whatever like that. So those two people are kind of like the only people that I've seen actually shut down parts of a field. But I think that I think Scotty is crazy that he leaves the game without a Defensive Player of the Year award, right? Now, I think a lot of Scotty's disrespect. Like he's never got the credit that he's supposed to, again, because they're gonna always tie him into Mike and say that a lot of his credit comes from Mike, right? But I think a lot of the disrespect the total disrespect that you receive now is really because of Scotty's attitude. And I'm gonna just say, Scotty been acting like a bitch, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me ask you this: Is he lying? Is he lying about anything he's saying?
I mean, I can't
say you've heard. So if you gonna call him that, Cook, you calling him that for a reason.
Yes, because you can't sit here and pout about this stuff. Like now they on this Last Dance tour. Mm-hmm. You can't.
No bull.
Man, I don't want to see this shit. Right. Yeah. Right. There's no bull tour.
I don't want to see it either. But my question to you is he, when you're saying what you're saying, is he lying about what he's saying?
What you think, Nick? What you think about
in his mind? No, he's not lying.
No, in his mind, he's not lying. Forget his mind. We just dealing with black and white facts. What was Jordan record before Scotty got there?
It wasn't good in the playoffs.
It wasn't good.
So my question to you guys, is he lying about anything that he's saying? If it like the truth, what's the lie?
He said Michael Jordan was a horrible player before he got there. That's a fucking lie.
That's a lie. That's not a lie. Truth. So what I would say, I wouldn't say it was horrible. He was horrible. Is selfish a fair word?
He had to score as much as he did.
I don't think he trusted his teammates. Yeah,
I wouldn't trust them either. They was fucking coked out bums. Well, why would you trust them? I wouldn't trust them either.
I agree.
And to Mike's defense, he needed time to learn as well. You know what I'm saying? Like he had to learn how to be a team player just like everybody else did. Just like wait.
I disagree. He played with Worthy. He played with Perkins. He played with Kenny Smith. And he played on that Olympic gold medal team where Bobby Knight coached him. I think so saying that he had to learn, I think the first what Nate said is true, that he was playing with some people that he didn't trust. They weren't good basketball players. And that's why Mike did what he did. But saying that he didn't know how to play team basketball, that ain't true because he played at an outstanding program with Dean Smith and had a great coach and a mentor.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
But you also hear Phil say that he did have to teach Michael how to play team ball as well. So if it's a lie, people like Phil told it. You know, I'm not saying I'm
So
not
the
one of
lie,
the ones.
the lie is
I'm not one of the ones that say Mike was a horrible player or he was you know what I'm saying? Because even though Mike was shooting a lot of shots, he was still shooting at a 50% clip.
exactly.
So that wasn't a horrible gun because he still was doing that. He was he was defending. He
Yep.
was, you know what I'm saying? He was rebounding the ball,
I
everything.
don't think he was a horrible player. I think sometimes in life you got to do what you got to do because other people ain't stepping up, and he ain't had nobody to step up at that time. But let's not get away from the topic, right? Because it's so easy when you're mentioning Jordan and Scotty that you can lose focus. And so again, before Mike retired, our record was 57 wins that season. When the year Scotty played and led the team, we won 55 games. It was a 2-win difference. God bless you. Going into that Eastern we swept Cleveland, right? That first round. A team with Mark Price, Gerald Wilkins, Elo, Brad Daugherty, Hot Rod Williams, and Larry Nance. Scotty and the Chicago Bulls swept them the first round. The second round, we played the New York Knicks. We were down 0-2. We took them people back 7 games, right? Game 6, we were about to finish them people. And you guys know what happened with Hugh Hollins. So that means we were gone, like, please tell me, where else you've seen something like that? We were going on to the finals, right? Is what everybody believes. But again, I don't want to do hypotheticals. But what I'm seeing in the NBA, right, is that how much who they want in the finals matters, right? I don't think the league wanted the Chicago Bulls teams in the NBA finals without Jordan being there.
But see, I'm gonna tell you something about Scotty, right? Because part of me agree that he's one of the most disrespected players, but then part of me, I say he brought a lot of this on himself, right? One reason I think he's very disrespected is if you look at the top duos, right, to ever play the game, right? The Shaq and Kobe, Magic Kareem, you know, those type of guys.
They all in the top 10.
Mike and Scotty is listed as top 2 or 3 in everybody's mind. Would you say, Nick?
Absolutely.
As a duo, right?
Yeah.
They the top duo to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I believe
they
so
are.
too. I believe so too, but I'm saying at least they're at least top 2 or 3.
Nah,
You know
I'm wrong. It's Magic and Kareem. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Magic
regardless how you got them, right? They're in the top 2 to 3.
All right.
Everybody else in that duo is in the top 10 of basketball players except Scottie Pippen.
Except Scotty.
He's the only one that we try to push top 20, top whatever like that. But every other duo, both players are in most cases in the top 10. So I think Scotty is disrespected in that way. What you say about that, Nick?
I mean, I guess I can kind of agree with you on that. I just feel like a lot of the hate came towards Scotty after his career. I think well, after all this other stuff started coming about with him, I feel like in the league, everybody respected him. Now, social media wise, I guess we talking social media. Then yeah, I guess he garnered a lot of disrespect. But league wise, I think he's respected. You know what I'm saying? As a defender, he's respected as for me, the first point, point forward. You know what I'm saying? One of the best defenders, to ever play the game. And I think any player, in history right now can go back in history and say that about Scottie Pippen. Now, I think a lot of shit that is going on is because of the bullshit he's doing now, because now, and I mean, and I get it. He feel how he feel because his name has an asterisk over it because he played with Mike. I get that, but
let me explain it. It's not just you guys are saying that it came after he retired, right?
Well, I'm saying that. I don't know what B saying.
Okay, and let me question.
Other than not getting the defensive player of the year, I
Okay.
agree with
Did he
Nick
get
that
did
it
he,
came
did,
after.
no. Did he get paid? But so you know the
That's
contract
his
that he
fault.
that was his
That's his
fault.
fault. He
You're
didn't get paid.
absolutely right. But so his and then go to this. Was Scotty recruited out of high school? How do you wind up at Central? How does Scottie Pippen wind up
Because he
at
wasn't that good yet.
go back and look at his college numbers, right? So it was the scouts. It was no everybody else, a player like him with his athletic ability, supposed to went to a Duke, supposed to went to a North Carolina, supposed to went to a Kentucky, supposed to went to a Florida. They didn't know how to utilize his raw talents, skill sets, right? Nobody knew what to do with him. It's the same thing with Dennis Rodman. How do you go to no-name colleges and then you turn out to be one of the greatest players we've ever seen, right? It's the disrespect. It's the money.
But
Well,
you'll be surprised.
I don't know if it's disrespect though. I don't know. I mean, you got a lot of players who just like you said, coaches didn't see what he had in him. That's not disrespect.
Was Randy Moss disrespected going to a Division II school? Because Marshall wasn't in the D1 at that time.
I mean, I don't know if it's disrespect or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could say it is, but you could also say that they didn't. They did. You could say it's disrespect.
I don't know what else.
But look at this though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead, bro. I'm good.
No, because I'm gonna say like, look at a Dame Lillard. Dame went to Weber State.
Disrespect.
You know what I'm saying? Even you know, I know we touched on Russ earlier. Russ was a 3-star athlete coming out of college.
Disrespect.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of players that end up. Some of them just not ready yet when it comes to where they, you know what I'm saying, where they going or the stage of their career that they at. Some of them not ready. Some of them they just haven't been discovered yet. They just a diamond in the rough.
Some of them just weren't mature enough. You know what I'm saying? We got to factor that shit in too. You got to factor in people when you get recruited. People ain't just looking at your talent. People looking at your attitude. People looking at your work ethic. People looking at all of that shit. So yeah, you're not getting recruited from these bigger schools because maybe because of that. I'm not saying Scotty. I don't know because I'm not gonna sit here and say what Scotty character was back when he was a teenager. I don't know. Now speaking on those other players, it could be that.
It's a clip that we have to add to this whatchamacallit, right? It's Scottie Pippen's game against the New York Knicks in 1995. At the end of the game goes to overtime. You see Scotty confidence level, right? He had like 36.16 rebounds, right? So they going for the winning play. You know how they tell you Scotty not clutch and stuff like that? He hit a run and jump hook shot to end the game. He scored all the points in overtime, right? But you could see Phil and him was so locked in, right? He called him over to the bench to run the play. You watch Scotty pound the ball up the court because he knew what he was about to do to them guys. Let me tell you who was on the front line for that New York Knicks team. Charles Oakley,
Smith.
Charles Smith, what's the
Patrick Ewing, obviously Patrick
Ewing, Anthony Mason, and Xavier McDaniel. It was a 5-on-1. He killed them people. Horace Grant wasn't on that team.
Now I'm gonna tell you this. I left out something that I want to say about Scotty, right? So remember the situation where Scotty didn't want to go back into the game for that shot?
Yes.
I got mixed feelings about that, right? Obviously, now that we look back, he looks foolish because Kukoc hit the shot, and Kukoc had taken a lot of big shots that year and hit big shots. So that makes Scotty look foolish in a way, right? But on the flip side, Scotty has a point. Now, here I am. Y'all wouldn't have made Mike. Y'all wouldn't have not gave the ball to Mike in that situation. You know what I'm saying? And here I am. I waited my turn. I sat and went through the pecking order. Now it's my turn. It's my team. It's my turn. I'm the man. This, that, and the other. Why are you not drawing up this play for me? Now, again, to Field and Tony's defense, Tony had hit some shot and he hit that shot. But to a certain extent, I kind of feel Scottie Pippen on that particular situation.
I don't,
I
because
agree.
your team comes first in everything you do in life.
You wouldn't have took the ball out of Mike's hands. I don't care what situation.
Even if you're right there, right? Your team goes first, right? And so I read something the other day, and I believe it was Tex Winters or Phil Jackson. It was Phil. He said 97% of the time, he said Scotty's gonna do the right thing. He said them other 3% of the time, Scotty's gonna become a very dark person, right? He said he'll do what he has to do to make it up, right? But he said, man, look, he's somebody you don't even want to know. and that's the truth. That's what we've seen from him, right? He said 97% of the time, that man is gonna do he said the correct thing. He said that. So look at these situations. Look when he threw the chair on the court, he got caught with that gun, and him not going in that game, right? And all of that stuff was around the same time that stuff happened, right? But it's not any more blemishes on his career that we could the migraine game. But I don't hold him accountable for that. But it's not too many other situations where you're gonna say he didn't do his job or what he was supposed to do.
And see the thing with Scotty, I think that like you hear like Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah go back and forth with stuff he say,
Yeah.
but some of them guys from them Pistons and stuff like that, they like to disrespect Scotty. But what I really think that is before Scotty developed, Mike was kind of by himself going against them guys, and so we could beat you. We can beat you because we can beat you up, and we can kind of push you around, or even if you get off, nobody else getting off. When Scottie Pippen developed and he became that second guy that Mike needed, wasn't shit the Pistons or none of them could do with him. And I think that's one reason that they talk crazy about Scottie, because he's the one who kind of like shut that shit down. Like once he developed and Mike got a running mate, ain't no more beating us. Ain't no
Riddle
more
me
beating
this.
us.
Did they sweep them?
Yeah, I think we swept them that time when they walked off the court, right?
I think we swept them. Another thing too, Mike averaged 32, 33 points in that finals in 91 and 11 assists. But go look at Scotty numbers. They was crazy.
Yeah, I know. But even if you look at their total numbers during their 6 championships, I think the only thing Mike really got him in is scoring.
He
I think
did.
Scotty
But
got him
I
in
mean,
assists
Scotty,
and rebounds and steals.
and what I mean by that is you arguably, you know how Jordan got that finals MVP. It probably could have went to Scotty. I wouldn't have been mad about
Scotty wasn't supposed to get none of them MVPs.
Okay.
What you think?
That's
Scotty
fair.
was supposed to get any of them finals MVP?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I agree.
I would like to go look at the numbers from the 91
Yeah,
NBA.
do that and go back to it. He shouldn't have got him. But look,
Hey, let's go to Russ though. Let's go to Russ right quick, because we're gonna spend all segment on Pip.
Hey, let me read
So
off
look.
Russ. Let me read off Russ. His NBA Most Valuable Player 2017.
He read it off
I
already.
read it off already.
Yeah.
I read off his whole resume.
All right,
So
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you this. The disrespect. And you 9 times All NBA is hard to do.
Yep.
You got a lot of players who that we look at, the Paul Pierces, the Vinces, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them guys, man, and Reggie Miller. A lot of them guys got 3 and 4 All NBAs. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question though, not to cut you off, B and Chip. How was Russ disrespected? I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, I mean,
Okay,
how was he disrespected?
let me tell you how he's disrespected. All
Yeah, I
right.
wanna hear that.
Last night they played the Lakers, right? Let me go back. Let me go look up.
But Chip, just all time though, not specific games. Like, give me so what is being said about him that's he's been disrespected?
What his Westbrook, that he's a stat stuffer. that he can't shoot. It's numerous things that where it's disrespectful to him. And
They
so they said he was
if
on
you
his way
missing
out the
shots,
league.
if you missing shots,
They said he was
but
on
if
his
you
way out
missing
the league.
shots,
They,
I mean,
they
okay,
he
so
that's
doesn't
right.
belong in the NBA.
So let me
Right?
ask you a question.
I understand that part. Now that part I don't agree with. But
What?
the West Brick, he was missing shots.
Okay,
You know
Nick,
what I'm
let me
saying?
show you
He
something. Let me show you something. Let me show
What
you-
name could you
Hold on.
come up with for Allen Iverson shooting 42?
Right, that's what I was. Have you ever seen
I get it.
Iverson?
I get it. And now people saying the same thing about Iverson when you talk about him. He was a volume shooter. That's why he scored all them points. I get that. I'm not in disagreement with that.
Westbrook wasn't never a volume shooter. But let me
Listen,
show
I'm not
you.
saying he is. I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he was.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Let me show you the disrespect that I'm seeing now. Last night the Lakers beat Clippers, right? Westbrook had played 17 minutes. Paul George didn't play. So riddle me this. Back in, say, for instance, on that Chicago Bulls team, right? If Rodman wasn't playing that night, did Tony Kukoc move into the starting lineup? Yes, he did. Yeah, it would be the next best player up that needs to play, right? Now, Russ has already made a sacrifice to come off the bench, right? Tyronn Lue, you play him 17 minutes last night, a healthy Russell Westbrook. You have him come off the bench. Him and Harden has already played a full season together, right? So what are you doing here? This means everybody thinks he's a great coach. You don't know how to coach that team if you disrespecting one of the best players that's ever to play that game. And it's part of the reason why you lost last night.
I'm gonna say this about that. I'm not upset about him not starting him last night because that's the role that he has now as the spark off the bench. So I'm not upset with him.
What was Tony Kukoc's role?
No, I'm not upset with them keeping him in that role for a game like that. Now the minutes, yeah, I think you give him more minutes. But as far as starting, I think you keep him right now. He's in that spark plug role coming off the bench.
Okay. So let me help you understand something. Manu Ginobili, was he a 6-man or a starter?
He was a starter that played 6, but he went to 6.
Right? He went to 6-man, and then he went back to being a starter. If this was Popovich coaching that Spurs team and say their starting 2 guard went down, and this was when Manu was coming off the bench, Manu was gonna go and start that game. There's no such thing as, okay, this your role, this is all you do now, and this is where we're putting you, and that's boxing you in, right? And so
I disagree. I gotta disagree with that.
I disagree too.
And that's my guy. I'm not upset. I'm not upset with him not moving into the starting lineup.
Okay, like so why didn't Pop do it with Ginobili? Why didn't Phil do it with Tony Kukoc?
It's two different. There's two different coaches. You can't. Yeah. So okay, those. Okay, I understand. Those are two Hall of Fame coaches. I get it, but those are two different coaches. Those are two different terminologies that they have as coaches. That don't mean Tyronn Lue is wrong in what he did. Now I agree with you on one thing. What B said. Okay, they probably still would have lost with him in the game. You know what I'm saying. But I agree with the minutes though. Did he have more than 17 minutes? Absolutely.
Vinny Microwave Johnson. If Joe Dumars, if Isaiah Thomas went down, did they move Vinny into the starting lineup?
I mean, historically, you're right. Historically, you're right.
There we go. All right.
I mean, but that don't mean disrespect though.
I think
because the topic is disrespect.
I think the disrespect. I'm gonna give you my piece on the disrespect with him. Because think about this. The disrespect comes from the media and social media, again, just like I said about Scottie. Because if you talk to Russell Westbrook's peers, they all speak very highly about him, the teammates, the opponents, stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you why in some of them cases. Like, I remember last year or the year before when he was struggling with the Lakers. And, Shannon and them, they would beat him up every day, right? So I remember Shannon had Dame Lillard on his podcast. And he was, man, Dame, Russell, Dame, like, hold on. Hell no. Russ like this, like, hell no. So Shannon kept trying to bait him into questions. But dang, what about this? He's doing this and he's doing dang, like hell no, like
Hell no.
no tripping. Ooh. Draymond Green did the same thing. Like every time they tried to bait them players into saying this type of shit, none of them was said. All of them like, no, hell no. Ooh. One reason they did that shit though, one reason them players wouldn't do that, Russ used to bust a lot of them guys' ass, bro. Dame said it himself. Dame say, I just started beating Russ. He said, like when he beat him in that series, that's when he said, man, before that, he had like I don't want to quote wrong on here, but he had a very losing record against Russ, like a horrible. He say, I just started beating him. He say, Russ used to bust my ass. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you can't get a lot of them players to talk bad about him, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's really the media and social media. They tried to say that man was done, skip him, say send him home. Don't even do this. You know what I'm saying? Don't even, he shouldn't even play. Send him home.
He averaged 18, 8, and 8 that year.
They told you he was a stat stuffer and not a winning player, even in OKC and all that, right? But when the man had a triple-double, at one point, he won 80-something% of the games he had a triple-double. How is that a stat stuffer if my stuff
is winning?
Wins. And then I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off of. You look at a Kevin Durant, where they talk about he had to get away from Russ, he had to do this, he had to do that. Besides Golden State, which was a juggernaut, everybody know that. You know, you could have plugged a lot of players there and won. Besides Golden State, that man has not had no more success outside of playing with Russ. He won with Russ. He went to the chip with Russ. He went to the Western Conference Finals all them years with Russ. Since then, since leaving Russ in Golden State, the man has never been past the second round, and he's played with the likes of Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. He's played with all of these guys, and he has not gotten past the second round of the playoffs without a Russell Westbrook. But people do not want to give Russ the credit that he deserves.
So we talking about social media, though, right? We talking about the media.
But that's the world we live in right now, right?
That's what we talking about, though, right?
That's where people are going to get all of their information. All like people don't even watch ESPN no more. So when the last time?
And you can't really, not to cut you off, you can't really just blame it on social media. That man.
No, I was asking the question. That was a question.
That man making $3 million a year, Nick.
Media.
I'm saying I'm asking the question. We are talking about social media.
We're talking about social media. We're talking about media outlets. We're talking about journalists. These people control the narratives, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was trying to get understanding of. I'm not disagreeing with nothing.
Look, let me ask both of y'all. Do y'all think
clarification? Because the Scottie Pippen peers don't say that. Russell Westbrook peers don't say that. It's the media is who's saying and being disrespectful.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that the organizations are being disrespectful now? The man playing on $3 million. Like that's kind of disrespectful. And I understand.
It's like you say Scottie did it. Russell could have went anywhere else. He chose to do that, right? He chose to come off the bench. These are his decisions, right? So if we are saying that this is Scottie Pippen's fault, some of this stuff is Westbrook's fault, right? He went to go to Houston to go play with Harden, right? He wanted to go play in LA with LeBron, right? These are his decisions. Nobody forced him to do this stuff.
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you all. I mean, with that being said, I do agree. Social media wise, and like you said, journalists, Chip said, journalists and stuff like that. I do feel like he has been consistently disrespected. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he's a great in the game. He's probably one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game, greatest rebounding point guard that I can think of to ever play the game. So I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with what you all say. I mean, at first I started out thinking like, how is he being disrespected? Because I feel like he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? nobody can argue that. You know what I'm saying? His competitive nature and the way he goes about playing the game, nobody can argue that. You know what I'm saying? But I think like some of the what you call the backlash on his shot was warranted. But I mean, that doesn't take away from how great he is. I mean, everybody have bad shooting games or years or stretches in their career. I think when they was talking about it, it was just a stretch when And then when me and B was talking about it, I don't know, Chip, if you've seen the episode when we was talking about when he's playing with the Lakers, they was just utilizing him the wrong way. So it looked like something, worse than what it was.
Russell is a rhythm player, right?
Yeah.
And so when his shot is falling, has the ball in his hand, he's coming up the court, he's shooting, right? Because that's his rhythm, right? If he's not a come off a screen shooter, right? That's not his ability level. But
right.
he is he goes, the better the flow of the game goes, the better player Russell Westbrook is, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So what we're seeing right here, I don't think Tyronn Lue is using him still correctly, even though we're saying he's going to be six. Everybody's saying he's going to be sixth man of the year, right? Which is great. But them to win, right? You got to put the ball in his hands. To me, he's the his style of play is gonna get them up and down the court better than James Harden's style of play.
The words you're looking for, Chip, is spark plug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And if Tyronn Lue don't get a grasp on how to do it, they're not going to win.
But see, now I don't know if y'all see. I think they like 5-5 in their last 10 games. So you might see some type of change happening. I don't really know. I haven't really pinpointed why yet. Why they are 5-5. I know Paul George is kind of been in and out the lineup like he didn't play last night. They were up 21 against the Lakers and let the Lakers come back and win their game last night. You know what I'm saying? So you might see some changes with that, but just overall, man, people don't realize the player that they saw in a Russell Westbrook. Like I say, a lot of people do because, like you say, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, 9 times All NBA, MVP, things of that nature. But that's a hell of a player that came through this league, man. Especially coming from, like I said, a 3-star athlete, going to UCLA, and even coming out of UCLA, he was not he was not predicted to be the player he is, and that's one thing about Sam Presti. Sam Presti kind of found a diamond in the rough, you know what I'm saying, and believed in him and picked him with the number 4 pick, and he hasn't disappointed. Only thing Russ hasn't done in his career is win a championship. That's the only thing he hasn't.
I think he started.
Defense a year.
He listened to the chatter too much.
He ain't do the defense, but I'm just saying.
All defensive team.
Yeah.
No,
and that part too. And he belongs on the all defense because defense is effort, right? I have not seen a player especially in this generation, play with the effort that we've seen him play with night in and night out, right?
That's not true. Patrick Beverly.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But the energy that he brings, and then Russ hardly misses games, right?
That's true.
One day I looked at him physically, and the man is never out of shape, right? So you remember when Harden came in out of shape, and we don't know if that was a bodysuit and all of that stuff. We have never seen Russell Westbrook out of shape. That means he's in the gym, right? The disrespect for me is this. You have people, again, it's just the media outlets and stuff like this, was saying that he didn't belong in the NBA anymore.
Yeah,
right?
You're right. You're right.
I've seen some bad NBA players, especially now.
And not to cut you off, and that top 100 players list had him like 90 something, and people like Grant Williams and all that was in front of him.
Yeah, right now. So
Grant Williams.
Yeah, like it was a
Get the
lot of
fuck
people.
out of here, bro. Are you kidding me?
Think about it. Russell's 90 something on that list. So think
That's
about the
crazy,
player
bro.
that was in front of him.
That's
Mhm.
crazy, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Go
Hey,
ahead.
but
and
let's
Final thought.
segue into let's segue to so you know what? I mean, obviously we probably went over, right? I mean, we can talk about this next time. Hopefully, Chip can get back on here. My most disrespected player is not any three players that we talking about. My most disrespected player is Kobe Bryant.
why? Somebody else said that. They said it
That's
earlier.
that's my most disrespected player.
I have Kobe
It's
ranked fourth all time, right? Somebody else said earlier, Kobe Bryant is the most disrespected player. I have
he
him
is.
on my list. But when you guys said this, it made me think of some other names. Chauncey Billups and Reggie Miller. It made me think of those two players, right? Of being disrespected. It's some old school players that don't get their flowers either, right? The Dantleys, the Bob McAdoo's of the world, them type of play. We need to. This is something we can't. 25 minutes is not enough time for us to really
That's why I
process.
said we got to
We got.
revisit it because
Yeah.
mine is Kobe and when we had time to talk about it again, I'll
Mhm.
go into why I think Kobe. But my number one reason, and we can end it on this or we can talk about it or whatever. But my number one reason is because after his passing, tragically, it seemed like everybody forgot about how great he was. You know what I'm saying? Everybody forgot about, you know what I'm saying? Everybody forgot media wise, everything. It's like before he passed, it was Mike and then Kobe. Now all of a sudden, Kobe ain't even in the fucking conversation no more. It's like he did none of that shit. You know what I'm
But
saying? It's
see,
crazy to me.
I think he was disrespected when he was here. Because
Yeah,
think
me
about this.
too.
How did Kobe lead his league with one MVP?
Yeah,
I agree with that. I agree with that too.
yeah. To me,
Hell
it
yeah.
was before he got.
And all of this, he rolled Shaq coattail.
Come on, bro. Shaq wouldn't have won without Kobe.
Yeah. And so, okay, we're gonna come back to that. So, lastly for me is the LeBron. So I and you guys know, I'm not a LeBron fan, right? But the disrespect that I see him take, I'm asking myself, is it warranted? I believe a lot of it is, but I still have to. Cook always brings me back down to earth, right? And then when it comes to LeBron, and just so I'm not a LeBron fan after 2010, right? But I do believe it was a time period between 2010 and 2000 and up to 2015 where he was the best player on the court, right? And nobody in the NBA could do anything with him, right? During that time.
Chip, not to cut you off, but let me ask you this question because I just want to get to the meat and potatoes of it.
Uh-huh.
What are people saying disrespectful about LeBron and
Okay.
how is he being disrespected? I just want to know.
I just seen a quote from Dr. J. He said LeBron is ranked 15 behind Scottie Pippen.
We're not gonna put no merit on what Dr. J talking about. Dr. J gonna put all the old heads. So I mean, we know that
Yeah,
about Dr. J.
Dr. J be tripping
But other than Dr.
sometimes.
J, other than Dr. J, who else?
We just seen him on some other Paul George. I mean, was it Paul George and them? I just seen it somewhere else where they were saying like, because of what he did, it then took a hit on his career.
Talking about the Miami Heat stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen that. So Chauncey Billups, you know what he said, and this is very interesting to me. Chauncey Billups said, "It wouldn't be a LeBron James if we drafted Melo." He said, and I need you guys to think about this too, because he said, and remember
I
what I
disagree.
said. Remember, so hold on.
I highly disagree with that shit.
Just hold on.
But go ahead.
Listen
No,
to
I'm
it.
listening.
Remember so the league sets up stuff. Okay, Rasheed Wallace went on record. He just said this. He said David Stern was pissed when we beat the Lakers in 2004 because they always care about viewership. You see, that's where their money comes from, right? So an NBA Finals with the Detroit Pistons instead of something like that, or it's going to hurt the league when the Lakers don't win, right? So in 2004, if a Detroit team takes Melo instead of Darko Milicic, Detroit is set up to win for the next 5 to 10 years with that decision. Are we right or wrong?
I can agree with that, but it has nothing to do with LeBron not being LeBron. But I mean, I agree with that assessment, though.
It kind of does because Melo is going to overshadow LeBron and everything.
Never.
Why
Never.
not? Why not? If
Melo would have been on a better team.
Now,
Melo would have been on a better team, Chip. I get that.
Yeah,
He would have been on a better team.
Being on a better team,
he would never outshadow them, though.
Okay, so riddle me this: who had the better rookie season?
Melo.
Who won the rookie of the year?
So listen.
I do think Melo was cheated out that rookie of the year. I think that should have.
I get it. But
Melo has a better rookie season. Melo goes to Detroit. Detroit wins 2 to 3 championships because that's all they were missing, right?
That's true.
So
I agree with you.
Also,
hypothetically,
LeBron's team beat that Detroit team in Cleveland. I forget what year it was. They're not going to beat them if Melo is on that team. So LeBron,
right.
Huh?
You're probably right.
Right? And so
you're probably right.
LeBron not winning is what matters in the league, right? And so what Chauncey was saying was, okay, you give us this young goon. He over here with the vets, right? The same way Magic with Magic Johnson. Magic went into a ready-made team, a winning situation, and it helped him, right? And so you put Melo on that team, and he wins 3 championships early in his career. It's a different story about Melo. Melo being disrespected. With Melo,
I agree with that to a certain extent, but I'm gonna tell you this: some people are undeniable, bro. Like you hear people say, if Tupac and Biggie didn't die, then Jay-Z wouldn't be. I think Jay-Z was one of the ones that was gonna be undeniable. Same thing with LeBron. You put LeBron in any era, LeBron is gonna be LeBron, bro.
He is. But what we're saying here, what they were saying is, you have to understand what they're saying. They're saying that the league has something to do with the Detroit Pistons not drafting Melo because they wanted LeBron. They wanted the narrative of the king.
I mean, and you may be right about that. I mean, it's all, speculation and hypotheticals and all that stuff. You may be right. But one true thing with that is, okay, I agree with you on the fact that Melo's career would have went a whole different trajectory had he been with Detroit. I agree with that. Would that have made LeBron less of who LeBron is? No, absolutely not. Not at all. I mean, now
he doesn't go to the finals in 05 or 06, in my opinion.
Because you're probably right.
Because Detroit so he can't add that to his resume. A lot of winning that he was able to get early on is not going to happen because he's being overshadowed by, and it's the same thing. Think about this. Well, me and Cook talked about this. Dominique Wilkins was the 3rd pick in the draft. James Worthy was number 1. If you put Dominique on that Lakers team, Dominique's career is totally different.
I mean, there's no arguments with that. If was a 5th,
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, if was a 5th, you know what I'm saying? But I know there's no argument with any of that. You know what I'm saying? But Dominique still had a great career. You know what I'm saying? Did he win chips?
Imagine what people will be saying about Dominique Wilkins if he has 3 rings, right?
I get it. You can say the same thing for Barkley. You can say the same thing for Ewing. You can say the same thing for a lot of these players. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's a tarnishment on their actual career. They were great players. Dominique was a great player. You know what I'm saying?
Winning is all people remember. When you talk about the silver,
that's a lazy way to judge if you judge strictly off champions.
Exactly. Robert Ory was great.
You got to be able to look at the player and judge a player.
Robert Ory's great, huh? Was Robert Ory great?
Perception is reality with people, right?
I mean, let's name some people with rings, though. Is Jason Caffey great? Is Dickie Sippins great?
No.
Is you know what I'm saying? Is you know what I'm saying? Let's name some people that get rings. You know what I'm saying? These niggas ain't great.
It has to be a level playing field. So a level playing field is a James Worthy and Dominique Wilkins, right?
Yeah, I get that.
And to me, and Worthy was on that 50 team. Worthy was on the 50 team. Dominique got left off. You see what I'm saying?
Which was bullshit.
Yeah.
So, and you know why Worthy was on there? Was because he won. When you go back and look at the history books and they ask you who won the Civil War, the North won. It ain't got nothing to do with how the South was getting busy at first, right?
And I agree with you.
Everything that went on in between, it don't matter. The history books tell the story. And so the history books, all they gonna tell you is that James Worthy was a better player than Dominique Wilkins. And I'm not sure about that. And so, and it was,
and that's no shot. That's no shot at James Worthy, because James Worthy was a dog.
no.
You know what I'm saying? But Nick, but see, it's hard.
Magic.
Yeah, because think about this, and I gotta get up out of here. Think about this. George Gervin, right, was drafted to the Spurs. Y'all can't tell me nobody that he played with on the Spurs besides I think Artis Gilmore or somebody. So how am I supposed, with nobody basically, how am I supposed to beat these Lakers? That's star-studded. Like how am I gonna beat them? So because I couldn't get past them Lakers and teams that was full of stars, them guys better than me? No.
But see, but here's the thing, and let's close it out like this. You know, and I'm not trying to be like that, but let's close it out like this. We are in an era now where we can rewrite the narrative.
Are you sure?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we can.
You know what?
These conversations.
It takes conversations. It takes people that really understand the game, people that really understand the situations. People need to start speaking out on this stuff more.
Exactly, and that's how we open the eyes to.
And that's how you change. That's how you change and you rewrite things. Is doing it like that, right? You have to speak up about that stuff, right? Because I seen somewhere somebody saying Charles Barkley. I had a youngster tell me that Isaiah Thomas couldn't play in the league today. Whoa.
But see, and like I say, I'm really finna hang up on y'all. I gotta go. See, but that's the fault of the Charles Barkleys. And that's Charles Barkley and fault and stuff like that, who are sitting on these platforms and where they, you know what I'm saying, they need to talk about the Bernard Kings, the Adrian Danleys, the Bob McAdoo's and stuff like that, because they have such a big voice in this game. Stop being silent when it comes to them type of guys, man. Yeah. Bringing the business, man. Another great episode. We'll be back, man. Chip, come on back, man, so we can finish one of these conversations.
No doubt. Peace.
All right, peace out.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.